A year ago today, I told myself to have the courage to just go for it, and to not put off making the videos that I wanted to make. Now, nothing ever turns out exactly how you picture it, but I found that by putting one foot in front of the other and being open to new experiences opens a world of possibility that you didn't know existed.
The last year has been a pretty wild ride in terms of making content. I was looking back on all the videos that I've made this year, and almost exactly a year to this day, I made a very similar video up in the hills over there. It was a lot less green because we've gotten more rain this year, but I was reflecting back on just some lessons that I've learned throughout my journey as being a YouTuber. And as I watched that video, I realized that this year has made such a different impact because this year's a completely different journey, and there's a lot of things that have changed, and there's a lot of different lessons that I've learned this year versus every other year I've been on the platform. So in this video, I want to go through the 9 different lessons that I've learned being a creator this year, and some things for us to think about moving forward as we make videos on this platform. Now, the first big lesson is that there is no rush. And one of the things that I think happens with a lot of creators, and I know it's happened to me throughout the years, is there's always like this need to do more, to be bigger, to grow faster. The reality is it's all just down to whatever you think is necessary. I know when I was first starting out on this channel, I made a ton of content and I spent all of my time making videos. I was working like 7 days a week, just nonstop, making videos that were getting like no views. And then this year really changed my mindset around how many videos I need to produce and at what frequency I need to produce videos. In the past, I would try to do 30 videos in 30 days in December. Kind of like a Vlogmas, but it was more just tutorials and the types of videos I make on this channel. And I would always get so burned out. Now, every time I did that, it did help my channel. I got a little boost. But the reality is, I didn't have to do that. There is no rush. There's nothing gonna happen if you take a few extra days to get a video done, or if you space them out a little bit further. It might just take you a little bit longer to grow your channel to a bigger channel, but there's no one telling you what to do, and there's no magic number that you have to hit, which is good and bad, because having the freedom lets you work on your own schedule. But also, you have to make sure that you are keeping yourself to a schedule. But as I said at the beginning of this lesson, there is no rush. So you can take some time for yourself. You don't have to spend all of your time making videos. The next lesson is that it's important to have work-life balance. And this really goes with the first lesson, because this year, things have really changed in the way that I approach my channel and just my whole sense of, working as a creator as a career. Because up until this year, I was spending a lot of time, nights and weekends, working on my channel and making videos. Whereas this year, I really set clear boundaries. So 5 o'clock hits, I'm done working. I'm helping with the kids, I'm doing bath time, reading books. And by the time I get back to my computer at like 9 o'clock, I don't really want to work anyways. So I've really cut off working at nights. I'm basically just done at 5. I now work like a 9 to 5 schedule. It fluctuates a little bit, but the reality is during the week, it's 5 o'clock, done. Now weekends, I don't work on weekends anymore. I basically take weekends off completely. I say, no, I'm not working. And I just spend time with the family, go do some other things. And I've really taken time to not be focused on making videos. I think this is important for a lot of reasons. And burnout is a major thing as a creator. You could hustle and work and really just put in as much work as you want to with this career. But the issue is, if you put in too much work and you're just working all the time, eventually you will burn out. You may be able to really hustle for a while, but there will be a time where you'll hit a wall and you'll just not want to make videos. And having these clear boundaries and these clear cutoff times has really helped me separate the YouTube side of my life with the personal side of my life, and made it so that there is this division, and I can have these moments where I can step away from making videos and really just always be focused about things like the algorithm and views and all of that. And then there are times where I'm deeply focused on it so that I can focus on my work at that time and really put all of my effort into the work. And I think it's important to find balance for yourself in your own life and not just put everything into the YouTube channel. I know when you're getting started, if you're newer to creation, you just want to go, go, go. You just want to grow that channel. And if you are in that season of life and you don't have a ton of responsibilities, then you can put all of your time and effort into your channel, but just know that you can't do that forever. So it's important to understand where you're at in your life, what responsibilities you have, and when it is okay that you could take a step back and create some balance and create some boundaries so that just being a creator is not all consuming with everything that you're doing. Now, the third big lesson is that you don't have to be connected all the time. I feel like working in this world of social media, there's always this urge to be online and be talking to people on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, watching videos, seeing what everyone else is doing, kind of just being tapped in to what's going on, especially because we're producing content for these platforms. I feel like there's a theme throughout all of these lessons this year, and a lot of it is disconnect and not always be tapped in, and treat this more like a job in that there is division from your personal life to your creator life. Now, some people I feel like are always on Twitter or always on Instagram. You just see tons of stories, you see tons of tweets. They're like always tapped in. And I guess if that's something that you really enjoy, then go for it. But I find that when I'm always tapped in to the social media world, I'm really like disconnected from everything else. And the issue is your world is just wrapped up in social media. And there's so much division on social media when you get on certain platforms. And there's just so many things that aren't real, even though they seem like they're real. And you just start to have this perception of reality that gets altered by all of these algorithms that are feeding us content. But when you can detach yourself from that, not be connected all the time, have conversations with other people, go on a hike with someone, go have dinner with friends, that's such a different experience than the online space. And I think for some people, they've forgotten what it's like to just not be connected all the time. Every year I try to do one big mountain climb. Sometimes I film it, sometimes I don't. And whenever I go do these climbs, I'm super disconnected from the world. It's like days of hiking a mountain and just being there with the group of climbers that I'm climbing with. And we're not like on social media, we're not posting about everything that we're doing. We're just there in the moment. And it's weird because like time starts to change. It's not as fast. Things move a lot slower when you're not tied into the digital space. It just feels like the days are stretched out longer. And then the conversations that you have with the people that you're with are so much more thoughtful because you're not sitting there staring at a phone and looking up once in a while just to jump in the conversation. Like, you are actually there. So my third lesson really ties into second lesson, which is have clear boundaries for yourself where you'll have times that you'll be connected and you'll see what's going on, because that's part of our job as creators, understanding what's going on in the industry. But find times to disconnect. Take apps off your phone. I've removed almost all the social media apps off my phone so that I'm not constantly checking everything at all times, because it gets really old just death scrolling through all these apps. And personally, I don't even really use some of the apps anymore. I'll check them once in a while, but I'm really just focused on making videos on YouTube because that's what I enjoy making. And I like making these kind of videos. So I don't really care about engaging with every platform out there. Really just want to focus on the platforms that I want to make content on. And that really builds into my next lesson, which is you don't have to do shorts. Now, I know everyone's talking about short form content and making reels or TikToks or YouTube shorts. But the reality is, if you don't want to make a certain style of content, you don't have to make that kind of content. There's some creators out there who really thrive in making short form content, vertical content. There's other creators who really thrive in making long form content, horizontal content, hour-long explainer videos or documentaries. And so there's no right or wrong way to be a creator. You just have to find the kind of content that you enjoy making and the kind of videos that your audience enjoys watching. There's plenty of creators out there who aren't making a ton of short form content, whereas some are really finding a lot of success in short form content. But I realize that I don't like consuming TikToks. I don't enjoy consuming reels, so I don't want to be making content for those platforms. And here on YouTube, I enjoy making longer story-driven content. I don't want to make a quick little 30-second short thing that someone just consumes and they forget 10 seconds later. And so the bigger point behind this lesson is that you don't have to be everywhere all the time. You don't have to be on every platform. You don't have to be using every feature, every type of content if you don't want to. Now, if you have a bigger team and you have people producing content for all these different places, well, yeah, it's going to help grow your brand and grow your reach, but ultimately, you don't have to do anything. If you just like making 30-minute videos of yourself hiking pretty places, well, then just make 30-minute videos of yourself hiking. You don't have to go and try to cram that into a 30-second short and put it up on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Shorts, I don't know, everywhere else that there's vertical content. Now that brings us to the fifth lesson, which is consistency is more important than quality. Now, hear me out on this, because there's a lot of YouTube educators talking about how it's more about quality now, and it's more about putting everything into making the best video possible, which I agree. It is important to have good videos, but there is still an important side of being consistent, especially if you have other things going on in your life. If you have other responsibilities and you can't spend 100 hours making a video. Now, some creators out there, a lot of younger creators, don't have a lot of responsibilities, so they can put all their time and effort into making videos, but there is a whole different group of creators, people with kids, responsibilities, other things going on, maybe another job in your life. And for a lot of those creators, I'm included in that, putting 100 hours into a video doesn't make sense. Maybe once in a while, but it's more important to be able to understand who you're making videos for and be consistent with it. And just be making videos one a week, one every couple weeks, and just having a rhythm where you're putting out videos that are gonna help your audience or entertain your audience or whatever your niche is that you're working in. Because if you put all of your time and effort into making these super epic videos, you could make them go viral. But if it takes a month or 2 months to make a video because of everything else that you have going on, well, that's not gonna be very beneficial to growing a channel. Now, I know you might say, well, your first lesson was there's no rush. Yes, there's no rush, but I still think you need to find a consistency where you're making video a week, video every other week, just something to always be putting a little bit of content on the platform so that your viewers don't totally forget about you, because it's very rare to be able to make one really epic video a month and really have this massive channel. Some people are able to do it. And if that's you, well, go for it. But vast majority of creators out there are gonna find a lot more success just putting out more content on the platform and just being consistent with it. One a week, one every other week, something to that degree. Now, the next lesson that I've learned is that you don't need to put your life on social media. Now, I know there's some people out there who that's part of what they do as a brand, but for the vast majority of us, we don't need to be posting stories all the time and updating our followers with everything that we're doing. There's a few reasons why. One is that, is it really doing anything to help your goals? So like as a creator, what are your goals? Once you have those defined, you can really see if stories fit into that or if it's just kind of a waste of time. And two is it's taking time away from the things that you actually want to do. And you're gonna spend more time working in your creator world versus your personal world when you're adding all these extra things onto the videos that you're already making. And the third reason is safety. There's a lot of bad actors out there. And if you are posting where you're at all times, well, someone might come and find you, or they might go to your house and break in and steal your stuff. Where I live, there's been a lot of house break-ins recently, and a lot of people post what they're doing all the time. And I'm not talking about people with big followings. These are just people who are posting to their friends and family, and they'll say like, hey, we're at the community concert, and like post a video of them like at the concert, and then their house goes and gets broken into. So it doesn't matter how big of creator that you are, safety is always something that you should think about, and you should never be posting right at the time of you doing something. If you are gonna use stories, make sure that it's a little bit after when it's actually happening, so that you're never exactly where someone thinks you are when they're watching that story, if they're watching it right when you post it. Now, lesson number 7 is don't post as soon as you finish a video. I know I feel like it's tempting to post your videos as soon as you finish editing it and everything's completed. But if you're following the different things that I've been saying in this video and you have more of a consistent schedule, well, that means that you can front load and shoot a few videos at once and then spread them out and post them throughout the month. For me, when I've had videos finished and they're uploaded, everything's done, but they're 2-3 weeks ahead of schedule, it's allowed me to not be so anxious and so worried about every upload. One of the things that happens is as soon as you finish a video and it's uploaded, well, you start thinking, well, what am I gonna post next? And then you have to start going through this rat race and this cycle of being like, okay, I gotta make a video. You make the video, you finish it, you post it, on to the next video. There's no clear division, there's no break for you in between videos for you to work on other things or other projects. This year has been a big change for me because I have my main channel here. This has been like my main focus, but I've also developed a bunch of different courses that teach filmmaking that are more like in-depth courses. And I've rebuilt the Creator Film School, which is where I have all of these courses. And it's just a different thing that I've been working on the side, as well as I also really started to put effort into my second channel and start making some different videos that are like adventure vlog, documentary style videos. If I was just focused on posting videos here on this channel, and then as soon as it's done, I uploaded it, started working on the next one, well, it gives me no space to be able to work on these other projects that I want to work on. And so if you're always focused on the next upload, and as soon as you're done, you're hitting publish, and you're not keeping yourself to a consistent schedule and spacing things out a little bit, well, you're just going to be 100% focused on videos. It's going to take over everything that you're doing. And so don't upload your video as soon as it's finished, unless you're on like a strict deadline, but try to make videos ahead of time and batch them. Make 2 or 3 videos at once, upload them, and then that gives you some space to work on other projects, or even just put more effort into other aspects of your channel versus just always working on the next upload. Now, lesson number 8 is that you don't need a team to succeed. I know there's a lot of creators that are building these big teams around what they're doing. You look at Mr. Beast, he has a massive production team around his channel. Other channels I've seen have like 10, 20 people working underneath them. And something to think about is, do you actually want to manage a team and run a team? There's a lot of talk around like hiring on all these people to help you with all these different aspects, but when it comes down to it, is that really something that you want to bring on? Do you want to be responsible for all of these different people and making sure that you have enough content to produce and work for them to be able to have a big team? I have one friend who has a massive team growing around his boxing channel, and he's really doing some cool stuff, and he's able to have his content in so many different places, and he has people doing all of these different aspects. So it allows him to focus more on just making the content and the idea phase and the big picture of what he's doing. Whereas, for me, I do everything myself, and I still enjoy doing everything myself. And I don't necessarily see the need to have a big team unless that's something you actually want. And so something to think about is, do you actually want to have this team? Do you want to take on all the responsibility that comes with building a big team out? Or do you enjoy just doing the whole process yourself? And if so, does it matter that you put out a few less videos per year because it takes you longer to make them? I don't think it does. I think you could just space your content out a little bit more and work more as a solopreneur or solo creator, and you'll be able to find success in your own way. There's no right or wrong way to be a creator. I think that's the coolest thing about this job or this profession or this career, is that there is no right or wrong way to do it. You can build your team if you want to have a big team, or you can do it solo if you want to do it solo. It's up to you. Now, the 9th lesson is have clear goals for yourself. Figure out what it is you actually want to do as a creator and start taking the steps to push yourself in that direction. And with goals, you really want to make them SMART goals. So you want to make sure that you can break these down into smaller steps so that you're seeing progress towards your goals. Now, last year I was in a different mindset. I definitely was in a place where I didn't want to have goals, and I was just focused on making videos and being consistent. But I think having that space of not being so focused on a single objective has given me the room to start realizing that there are certain things that I personally want to achieve with my channel, or that I want to get to eventually as a creator. And so if you're in that place where you don't know what your goals are, well, that's okay. But as soon as you do have like a goal, or you have something that you're trying to obtain, well, break it down into smaller steps. What are the little things that you can do that move the needle towards actually achieving those goals? You want to create SMART goals if you're going to set goals for yourself as a creator. And I don't think having goals is necessarily a bad thing, but the reality is what you actually get to down the road is very different than what you envision. So it's good to have goals to be a reason to point yourself in a direction. And it's good to break those up into steps so that you know you're making progress. But everything changes and everything's in flux. So those goals will evolve and change over time, and what you want now might not be what you want down the future, but that's okay. I think it's just a lighthouse off in the distance. It's gonna help give you direction. Now, one thing I always do at the beginning of the year, because this is the first video of the year, is I like to set a word for the year versus trying to set resolutions, because resolutions typically fail for most people. It's something like 70, 80% of resolutions fail, if not more, some ridiculous number. So a word is much more obtainable. A word is like that lighthouse. It's something that you can look to when you're lost. So what you want to do with your word is have something that's going to help drive you for everything that you're doing. So one year my word was create, and that year I really went headfirst into YouTube and really made a ton of content, and that's when my channel really took off. Now, my word last year was courage, and it was courage to just say yes to the opportunities that came my way, or yes to the types of videos that I want to produce. And I really focused on starting my second channel and putting out some different styles of content, things that I've been wanting to do for a while. And also, this year I was able to tackle a pretty big project when I went to India and helped make a documentary for a group of families that need to get out of a trash dump. It's hard to say yes to do these projects sometimes because there are a lot of barriers to making it happen, but that was why my word was courage, to just go for it. But this year it's gonna be a little bit different. And so my word for this year, I think, is fitting to be balance. And that is to have a balance between my work life, personal life, the things I want to do that are outside being a creator, whereas also focusing on the goals and the things that I do want to achieve as a creator. And it's being able to say no to those things that take too much of my time away and take me away from the actual things that I want to achieve. And one thing that I'm going to do personally as a creator is post once a week. I've been trying different periods throughout last year where I posted more than that. And for me, it was too much work. It was too much to try and post multiple videos per week. There was a period in my life where 2-3 videos a week really helped grow my channel, and I was able to do it and be able to maintain it over a long period of time. But with kids, family, other things like my creator film school and my second channel, it's not practical. So once a week or once every other week is what I'm going to strive to do. And I'm only gonna post on Tuesdays. And you might think, well, why Tuesday? Well, I used to always post on Mondays. Those were kind of like the day that I would post. And then if I had a second video, I'd post it on like a Thursday. If I did 3 videos, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But Monday was always my day. The issue is, if I do a video a week, I do it on Monday. Well, if I don't get that video done by Friday, by the end of the day on Friday, I'm gonna be stressing about trying to get that video finished, over the weekend. I don't want to do that. So giving myself Tuesdays as the day to post a video allows me to get to Friday. And if I don't finish what I need to get finished, well, I have a whole nother day next week to work on it before I actually post that video. And I'm gonna try to batch videos as well. I'm gonna try to make multiple videos at once and post them and then get them uploaded and ready to release and just spread them out. So once a week, if I miss that once a week deadline for myself, then I'll do it once every other week. But I don't wanna take away from my other goals and the other things that I wanna do. So my second channel, I wanna do at least one video a month for now, maybe 2 videos a month, and start playing with different formats that are easier to produce so that it's not these crazy big vlogumentaries that take a long time to produce. And then I also have a ton of courses planned that I'm gonna be producing for the Creator Film School throughout this next year. So a lot of things that are going on all at once, but that's why I think the word for me for this year moving forward is gonna be balance. And the way that you use this word is that you can write it down, you can put it next to your computer, you can tape it to the back of your camera, wherever you're gonna see it all the time. So you can just remind yourself to just be in that mindset whenever things are getting a little crazy for you or you're starting to move away from what it is that you're trying to achieve for this year. So what's your word? Let me know down below in the comments. And next, if you want 9 more lessons that I learned last year, well, check out this video right here. Goes through some other lessons completely different than these that will help you as a creator. I'll see you over there.